Fuck. Boo. Oh, duh. Good morning. Why, hello there, you two. Cute and cuter.
You can't call me cuter than Dinor.
You are cuter than Dinor. You're 100% cuter than Dinor. Dinor is turning into a crusty old man. Look at him. Yeah, whatever, dude. Oh, you need the lighter. I'm sorry, baby. I'm fucking such a piece of shit. I am. I hide the lighter. Like a scumbag. Nope, haven't seen Romulus. Dude, I did something this morning.
What?
I was scrolling through shorts while I was shitting. No shit, right? Scrolling through. I land on a live. Mm-hmm. It is this black woman who looks like she's probably 400 pounds. Mm-hmm. She's wearing a tank top, and she's got these huge titties. Mm-hmm. And the tank top straps are just over her nipples. Mm-hmm. And you can see the nips on either side. You just can't see the whatever the center, the bowl, the whatever. You can see the areolas. And she was like, blah, 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 blah. You know, she was talking about like how Kamala Harris probably sucked Trump's dick. And she was standing in her kitchen. And it was like a reflex. I hit the button and I reported it. And they killed it. I killed it. I killed it. I was like, dude, there's tits. This is the Wild West out here. And if they were nicer tits, I would have probably not reported it. But they were not. They were very floppy old lady tits.
You're probably like a report number 50 on that thing.
But it died right after I reported it. And I got the email. It said, we removed something that you reported. I got you. It was me. I reported it. She said the same shit Trump did after he said it already. I don't know. It was just reflexive. I was like, this can't be on here. This woman's big old milkers cannot be out on there. And they were huge too. Like, not in a good way though. In a bad way. I want video. Bro, I did it while I was pooping. There's no video.
I don't even know how to record my own screen on my phone, do you?
There's a way on iPhone to do it. There's a screen recorder utility, but before they added that, you could just download a thing. Mm-hmm. TJ had me do a bunch of mobile game shit for him one time. It was like Vikings War of Clans or some shit. And he had to play a certain amount of time to unlock certain stuff, and
so he could promo it.
So he could promo it, and so I did that. I played the game for 4 hours or some shit, and unlocked the keep so I could get knights and then send them out or some shit. That's what they wanted us to show him doing. The truth. The only thing black about Kamala is her soul. What the fuck? Like, dude, I hate the Democrats and the Republicans as much as the next guy, but I think you guys are getting a little wild. What strain you smoking? Wedding cake this morning. We're on the indica this morning. Day's going okay. It hasn't been that long. I woke up probably like an hour ago, maybe a little less. And everything's gravy. Can you tell me a dad joke? Dude, I know the best dad joke. And it's actually a joke about a dad too. But it takes forever. And I don't know if I want to tell you guys it. Well, it doesn't take forever, but it's just like an involved joke. Do you want to hear the joke or not? Because it's going to take me like 3 minutes to tell the joke. I'm just letting you know. It's a long joke. And I don't want people claiming that they're bored in the middle of the joke. Okay. All right. Here's the joke. So this guy has a son, right? His wife dies in childbirth. And the son has a strange condition, okay? The son is just a head. Doesn't have a neck, doesn't have a body, he's just a head. Wife dies, the man has to raise his son. And at first, of course, he's freaked out. Like, how can this even be? How can you survive if you're just a head? But it doesn't take long for the man to realize, like, look, if the kid's just a head or not, I'm his father. I have to take care of him. So he works 2 jobs his whole life, single father, and he raises this boy up to a man. It's the 21st birthday of his son. And he says, son, I'm going to take you to the bar and buy you a drink because today you are a man. The son goes, yeah, Dad. You know, he's just a head. Dad tucks the son under his arm, goes to the bar, right? Sets the son's head down on the bar. Every eye on the bar is like, you know, but the dad is determined. He's like, hey, my son turned 21 today, and I want to get him a shot of whiskey. I want a shot of whiskey too. The bartender goes, okay, all right. 2 shots of whiskey. So the dad knocks back his shot and goes, all right, son, open your mouth. Tips the head back, you know, grabs him by the hair and tips it back, pours the shot in his mouth, right? Kid swallows it. The head swallows it, you know. All of a sudden, starts shaking. The head starts going. Dad's like, oh my God, what happens? Everybody in the bar is looking. And then all of a sudden, a neck pops out. So now the kid is a head and a neck. Right? And the dad's like, oh shit, what is this? Of course, get him another shot. He grew a neck. Get him another shot now. Bartender just pours him a shot. Dad tips the head and the neck back. A torso pops out. The dad's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh, praise Jesus. All right, get him another shot. Get him another shot. Another shot. Dad helps the torso and the head drink the shot. Arms and legs. He's a complete man. A complete man. Dad just starts weeping. The whole bar is cheering. It's a miracle that happened right in front of them. Kid's like waving around all his new arms and stuff. He's dancing around on the bar. Everybody's cheering, right? And his dad is just weeping. And he says, bartender, I want to get a round for everybody for celebration. 1 shot for everybody. Bartender goes, it's on me. It's on me. Lays out all the shots. The whole bar is around. Hands out all the shots. The son is there with his brand new arms. Na zdrovia, you know, they all fucking toast. Everybody knocks back the shot. Kid knocks back the shot. Everybody's cheering. And then all of a sudden the kid starts going. He fucking explodes. Blood, guts, intestines, ass, colon, heart, lungs, liver, brains. All over the bar. Everybody is just soaked in gore. The dad is just standing there, just dripping with his son's blood, going like, what? Bartender goes, should have quit while he was ahead. There you go. That's a dad joke and a half right there. That might be the best dad joke. That might be the greatest dad joke of all time. So there you go. You have to tell it just like that, though. You have to draw people in with the story. Okay? It's not funny if you skip straight past it and just tell it. You have to tell people the whole thing. You've got to get them drawn into the storyline. That's the key. I was having cricket dreams last night.
Yeah.
I dreamed.
Did I not let him out this year?
Oh, I don't know. I was having dreams though.
Maybe I could make some coffee later.
I've had my meds. I didn't have no coffee though. I would. Thank you, baby. Advice on how to be a better storyteller? You just got to do it. You just got to practice it. You watch how people react. You'll learn how to present. I've been practicing since I was like 6 years old. So you probably got a lot of work ahead of you, but it can be done. If I'm an expert at anything, it's storytelling. I wish I could read that crazy Russian stuff, dude, where they got like the tiny Ks. You know what I mean? Like that. They got the tiny K and the tiny H. Like, what is that? Why do they have a tiny K and a tiny H, yo? You ever wonder that? I do. I'm like, damn, why these Russian people got a bunch of tiny Ks, you know? And they're backwards sometimes too. They'll be backwards K. A tiny backwards K. Why is that? Why is that happening? Yes, I do wonder that. I wonder that. I wonder a lot of things, bro. Like there are things that I wonder that I feel like I don't ever ask because I feel stupid. Why they got a backwards K? Why they got a tiny little squat H and a backwards K on everything? You know? I don't know. Nobody's gonna tell me. Nobody will explain. You know, my teachers used to tell me that there's no such thing as a dumb question, but that's just not true, is it? Most people think every question is dumb. Can you go live in a way that allows people to play this in the background or screencast it like you do for Onion Nuggets? Can you go live in a way? Yes, I could go live in landscape mode, but then I would have like 10 viewers. See, the game right now in the algorithm is portrait mode live streaming. It's like a hack right now. And I don't know how long it's going to be that way, but your shit will be in the algorithm. How long have you grown your hair? Before I got my hair cut about 3 or 4 months ago, it was down to my ass. So that's about where it stops growing, right at the top of my ass crack. So it was pretty fucking long. But yeah, no, like, I don't know how long YouTube will allow it, but YouTube Shorts, if you're trying to build a channel right now, doing these YouTube live short things is like a hack. you will get, I've gotten like 6,000 subscribers in the past 3 months, just passively, just doing this. My views have quintupled, I think. Like, you know, my lives will get like 8, 9, 10K people watching, like, over the life of the video, you know? So it's like a hack right now, man. Like, if you can be, like, you can't just come on and do nothing. Like, but if you're a person that can talk to people and can hold a one-way conversation or whatever you want to call it, it's like a hack, bro. You don't even really have to be all that interesting. I mean, look at me. What a day. Oh, snap. Thank you, baby. So sweet.
Cricket wanted me to watch him eat his breakfast.
Oh, he needed a breakfast watch.
Yeah.
I got it. Monday, Monday. Yep. Dude, I kind of feel bad that I got that Ladies Big Old Titties band. I feel bad that I did it. That I was the one. There were over 1,000 people watching those big titties, and I killed their boners. All of them.
I said you were one of many, I'm sure.
But I was the one. I got the email. Well, I guess maybe everybody that reports gets the email, but it happened right after I reported.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I reported, went back to her stream, and blip. It was me that did it. Okay? It was me. I was the one. Was it nudity? Yeah, she had her big old floppy milkers out. And she was talking about Kamala Harris giving a blowjob to Donald Trump.
Male presenting nipples only.
Yeah. Like, I could do this all day.
Yeah.
Okay? I could do that all day. But if you've got female breasts, you present as female, you better keep them in. I will report you. I don't want to see no female titties. No, I'm kidding. I don't know why I did it. I was mad, I think. That's what it was.
Like, why is she
was
getting so much attention,
Yeah.
just flagrantly blowing off the rules?
Yep. I was sitting there pooping, and I was scrolling, and I came by her, and I saw she had 1K viewers, and I've never even touched 500.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? The only reason anybody's tuning in right now is because she's got her big old flop milks out. Reported. And then now I feel bad about it, though, because I got real salty and angry. I am a hater, dude. I really am a hater, dude. I was just mad. You know? Like, I work hard, okay? I work hard to get 200 people in here. And all that lady has to do is sit and fantasize about Kamala giving a blowjob to Trump with her titties out. And she got 1,000 people get banned. Okay? That's not child appropriate. Okay? That's the first time that's happened to me, though, where I've reported something and I feel like it was me. I was the straw what broke the camel's back. I had to be. It was me. Me. Are you high now? No. Completely sober. Now I know why that stream shut off on me. It was me. I was pooping too while I did it. So you can imagine that as well. I was taking my morning poo. And I got super salty at her view numbers, okay? Super salty. That's all it was. I'm even like overstating. Because it's like, they weren't horrible titties. They were nice, actually. They were big. But you can't be showing them. You can't. Them's the rules. And she was breaking the rules to get more viewers, and that's not fair. It's also not fair that if I were to pull my titties out, my views would go down. That's fucked up. It was more than a nip slip. The woman was wearing a tank top, and the straps on the tank top were the only thing covering the whatever what do you call this?
I mean, that's the nipple itself.
The nipple. But you could see the big old pancake areolas. You know? And so she was only hiding the nipple bud, you know? Dude, they were flapjack nipples. It's okay. I got love for every type. But you can't pull them out. You can't. If you're a lady, you can't whip them out. I'm sorry. Them's the rules. Keep them in your shirt. No, I don't. I was just mad. I was just like, this bitch out here just using her titties illegally on YouTube. You know what? Reported. Bloop. Oh shit, it worked. Paul, you reported someone for challenging the system. That was fascist. You're right. It was. It was authoritarian. It was fascist. Keep going. Like every other bad descriptor, it was petty. It was. It was super petty. Because I could have just scrolled over if I didn't like what I saw. That's what I tell people to do here. But, you know, what are you going to do? I'm just being honest about what happened. Okay, I wanted people to know because I know some of the people in here were watching the titty stream. And now you know what happened to it. Okay? It was the wrong day. Okay? This is Democracy Manifest. I'm guilty of what? Enjoying a meal? Enjoying a succulent Chinese meal? You grabbed my penis. Don't grab. This one grabbed my penis. That guy's a legend. You guys remember that video? The succulent Chinese meal guy? That's old one, but a good one, man. He died the other day? No. The succulent Chinese meal guy died? This is Democracy Manifest. Aw, dude, don't fucking tell me that. You're not trolling, are you?
What's his name?
I don't know what his fucking name is. You could just search for succulent Chinese meal. I guarantee you it'll come up. The video will, and then you could maybe see what his name is. Ah, yes, you know your judo very well. Yeah, I'm looking it up, man.
So, Chris Reason.
Chris Reason?
I don't see him.
Charles Doza is what they're saying his name is. Charles Dozsa. He died last week. A succulent Chinese meal, bro. Dude, we need to have a succulent Chinese meal for him. What day did he die on? That needs to be a holiday where everyone, the planet over, has a succulent Chinese meal in his name.
Okay.
Damn, I've got you on the
It's
case.
From Next Shark. Says he's dead at 82.
Succulent Chinese meals. He was a pretty old guy when that happened, so. But that's
the
not.
only source that I see.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shady source. But I don't. It's not. Wouldn't be international news that the succulent Chinese meal guy died. You know, he's just kind of like a Chris Benwall. I mean, I've had you guys have given me 9 names now. I'm not gonna have my wife Google every goddamn name. But the succulent Chinese meal guy apparently is dead. What the fuck? Dude, this world is so insane and crazy. I don't know how people stay sane and navigate it sometimes. I feel like it's just wacky shit. Day in and day out. Wild, wacky shit. This is democracy manifest. Why are you trying to make your voice deeper, huh? Dude, are you threatened? Are you threatened by the bass in my voice? I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna be, you're gonna tell me if it's true, okay? Are you below 5'7"? True or false? You are below 5'7". True or false? I'm not making fun, but that's where that comes from. This is just how I sound, dude. And you want to know the fucked up thing? I started sounding like this at 13. If you were to talk to me at 13 years old, this is the voice I would use. Maybe a little more gravelly now that I'm an old man. But my voice went from like, "Hey everybody, it's me, prepubescent Paul," to this. Like literally overnight. Happened to me in 6th grade, bro. Towards the end of my 6th grade year, I started scrodling. You know what scrodling is? It's when a squeaker is going through the change of life and they're like, "Mom!" You know that, where their voice cracks? That started happening to me in the last couple months of my 6th grade year. And when I came back from summer for 7th grade, I was like, "Hey, what up, Teach? What's going down? Hey, everybody. Damn."
Why do you think your voice dropped so early, or is that not really early compared to your friends?
It's not. I mean, that's around when it starts happening, and I just have the genetics for a bassier voice. A bassier speaking voice or whatever. Like, it's a genetic thing. Like, there are dudes, like, have you, like, look at Mike Tyson. He's not super tall, but he's big, ripped, muscly guy, and he speaks like this. He talks like this. There's no accounting, you know. It's a genetic thing. I know why I have a loud, bassy voice because of my genetics. Do you guys want to know why? This is cool shit. You ready? My ancestors were Scandinavian and Scottish and Irish. That whole area of the world intermingled for about 600 years. There were raids and conquered, and the Scandinavians occupied Ireland, occupied England, right? Scandinavians of that time, my ancestors, were sea navigators. And one of the things that you would do, because you had to land your longboat in foggy or rainy or stormy conditions, is you had a guy with a booming voice. When your navigations told you that you were near the shore, and the guy would yell. Okay, you can see this represented in the movie The 13th Warrior. They land on a foggy shore and they fire flaming arrows, right? And then when one of the arrows hits the ground and they can see the fire, they know they're close to land. They also use their voice. In the movie, the guy says, "Odin! Odin!" Right? Your voice had to carry. And so that is likely why I have a naturally baritone-y kind of bassy voice. And I'm very loud as well. My speaking voice is probably, I don't know decibel ranges, but I'd imagine that I speak a little louder than the average person. And I can raise my voice to a massive extent. Like, I can be extraordinarily loud if I push my voice. Like, I was a person, like when I did stage work, I was always a template performer. Because I bounce my voice off the back of the house. Nobody in that theater is not going to hear a fucking word I said. Can you metal growl? Nah, not really. I don't want to fuck up my vocal cords, to be honest. But I probably could.
Gotta do a whole show today.
Yeah. Don't want to shred the vocal cords this morning. What watch are you wearing? This is an Autodromo Group C. It's a digital watch. And it's super nice. Stainless steel, sapphire crystal, rated digital chronometer, and the whole nine. It's a super nice watch. Watch autism, I know. Everybody likes them, though. My taste in watches are watches that pop off the wrist. Like, I don't have like a real super normal looking watch. Like, my watches, all of them are very like, whoa, what is that dude wearing on his wrist? I like that. It's a conversation starter, and I think it fits my personality too. Yeah, I can't do the ZZ Top thing, man. This is about, like, my beard might get down to here. But everybody's beard has like a terminal length. Everybody's hair too. Some people's is longer than others, right? That's why you see some people that can grow their hair out down past their feet. They have a genetic marker for their hair's terminal length to be super long.
Hair has a cycle.
Yeah.
Like, once it reaches its terminal length, it's just constantly replacing itself.
It sheds. Yeah. And so it's like some people have a genetic, probably a mutation or a marker that allows their hair to stay for longer, right, before it falls out. And so their overall length of hair can be super long. That's the thing, is like if you have a head of hair like long hair, like this. You think of it, oh, it's all one length. It isn't. Every hair on my head is like, just the average length is down here, right?
But there's a ton of little baby hairs.
Yep, there's a ton of little hairs that have fallen out and are coming back in, and
there's some that are
right.
all the way down here that are
That's why it
pop
takes.
out.
That's why it takes so long to grow your hair out to a length that's like, you know, you've got long hair. Because your hair goes through that cycle whether you've cut it or not.
Mm-hmm. I know, like the whole thing, like, oh, if you keep it trimmed, it'll grow longer. That's not true.
Mm-mm. Keeping it trimmed is not a bad thing, because typically what happens is that the hair dies to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. It's like when I went to get my hair cut the last time, it had been years since I got a haircut. And the lady was like, oh, how much? She was reluctant to cut it because it was super long, and I just told her, like, I don't want you to cut it all off, but I want you to cut off everything that's dead. And she was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And she showed me. She was like, this is basically your hair is dead from here down.
Yeah, like it was probably like, what, this much?
It was this much. Yeah. It was this much hair. Yeah. Easily. She was like, so it's about that's totally dead, or maybe even more. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, all right, get it. And so she cut it and left it long. It was down to about here.
I think it's probably grown like 3 or 4 inches since you cut it.
Maybe, yeah, 3, 4, maybe 5 at the high end. It was pretty short, but it was long. It was long and uniform, and it looked cool. It was just shorter, you know. And I'll probably go get that done. I just like the way it looks. As it gets as long as my beard or a little longer, I like the way it looks. But I think when it gets, you know, another 2 or 3 inches on it, I'm not gonna like it so much.
In terms of cutting the split ends off, that's not going to magically make your hair longer.
No, it will make your hair healthier.
Yeah.
Like, but you're not. It's not going to be longer. Yeah, it's going to be shorter as a result of you cutting it always.
Yeah, and it's not.
It doesn't grow in
longer.
faster. Yeah. Like cutting your hair doesn't stimulate it to grow more. That's it. You know, you just got to like not cut your hair and then get it trimmed back. That's the idea. If you want to keep like a long head of hair, which I do. I always wanted it when I was young. When I was very young, my mom kept my hair this long or longer. And then once I got to like 6 years old, going to school or whatever, my dad insisted that I get a little boy haircut because he was tired of people like walking up and saying what a beautiful little girl I was.
You couldn't help that you were Mr. Petite.
Dude, Mr. Petite, California, 1984, 4 years old, ruling the world. You know how I got him too?
Did you get out another joint when you?
I did, but it's okay. You got to push on the sides of it.
Okay. How'd you get your Mr. Petite? What'd you do?
There was an interview portion, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't remember. I think I sang a song for my thing, and I was a good little singer. I had good pitch for a kid, so I sang a song, and then they did the interview, and they said, "What is your favorite thing in the whole world?" And I paused for a minute, or for a second, and I said, "Hot dogs," and the whole place apparently erupted in laughter, and I won. They put a crown. They gave me a crown. I had to give the crown back the next year because I was, you know, you're Mr. Petite. It's like Miss Universe or Miss USA or whatever. You're that for a year. And so I did some photo shoots. There was a big write-up in the local paper about me wearing my crown. Mr. Petite. Such a weird fucking thing, that child beauty pageants, baby beauty pageant shit. But my sister was in them too. My mom was very, like, because I think my mom took it to heart when she said, when people would tell her, like, your children are adorable. We really were. Like, my sister maintained the adorable. I became a grizzled weirdo, okay?
Yeah. Well, you can see her kids, all the kids that your sister pops out.
They're adorable.
The same ones.
They're just fucking adorable. And they all look different, too. That's the weirdest thing, is like, the mix of him and her.
Yeah.
creates wild permutations. Some people, when they have multiple kids, it's like they're all within that, they look similar. These kids, if I didn't know that they were related, some of them I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, and when they're babies, they're just fucking.
She has a Gerber baby.
Yeah,
like
a literal Gerber baby.
Yeah.
If you looked at my sister's youngest right now, she was, and still to a great extent is, a literal cute model Gerber type baby. Something about my genetics makes cute as fuck babies. But there's no accounting for what's going to happen to them in old age. Well, if you could rate it on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being straight, 10 being gay, how bi are you? I don't know how to rate that. I think I was a Kinsey 2. So you can go look up what that is.
Doesn't that mean like almost all straight with a little gay?
No, it means... I don't remember. You can go look it up. I'm a Kinsey 2. That's a better way of representing it than me trying to pick a name or pick a number on 1 to 10.
Okay. It's level 2.
Yeah.
So 0 is 100% straight and 6 is 100% gay.
So I'm...
Kinsey 2 is like lean in straight.
Right.
I'm not quite 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah.
60-40.
Right. We're all stars now. In the dope show. You sell weed? No. There would be no point anymore.
Who did you on the Kinsey scale?
My doctor,
Oh,
yeah. He had me take a bunch of standardized shit. And he had me do the Kinsey scale because I was having trouble confronting my bisexuality or whatever the fuck. And he wanted me to know what I was and to see it. And it's not like definitive, but it is a methodology for determining.
Well, it's also like a demonstration that like there's a lot of people
There's
between point A and point B.
There's a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's not just like you're gay or you're straight or you're bi right in the middle. That's not the way it works. That's not the way human beings work. That's not the way our minds work. That's not how psychology works. Everything is a continuum.
They're claiming that the Kinsey Institute is saying there is no Kinsey test. It's just purely...
It wasn't like a full, it was a question and answer session based on the Kinsey test that he gave.
Which is just a sexual history test.
It was a sexual history test. Yeah, exactly. And then he, you know what I mean? Like he studied Kinsey and he studied all of that. And so he told me where he thought I would be on the Kinsey scale, given my sexual history test, given the methodology that Kinsey used to illustrate the point. The point is that this hard binary of gay straight doesn't exist. And there are, almost infinite gradients between the 2 points. It was something that was illuminating to me, but it was also something that I was only comfortable with him and me knowing. I never would have said a fucking word about it to another person. And it was years after he died that I came out as a bisexual guy. And that's like, I was 40, It's your whole life, your whole young life gone, pretending to be something, passing on, romantic partners, passing on things, denying a part of yourself, pretending you're uber super duper straight, How old are you now? I'm 44. Do you have a weird genetic flex? My hair. My hair is probably, for a guy, like thinking about it from purely like selfish standpoint, right? Dudes are there, like there's nothing worse in the world for a masculine presenting dude in our culture than balding at 25. Right? Like it's just like I will make fun of people, but I don't like judge bald guys. And I don't like, but yeah, the hairline is fucking impeccable, bro. And it always will be. Like my grandfathers on both sides of my family, they say that your maternal grandfather is the one that you should look at if you want to know how your hair is going to be. Not your dad and not your paternal. They say your maternal grandfather is more indicative of your hair as a man than anybody else in your family. And, whether it's maternal or paternal, both my grandfathers died with a big giant head of hair. So
I guess I'm set because my grandpa still had hair when he died.
was it receding or
Maybe
was
a
it
little, but like
not noticeably?
no.
Yeah, see, you got good hair genes. If we had a kid, it'd be like fucking Rapunzel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thank goodness we're not going to have a kid because Rapunzel was, she lived a terrible life.
No, because if it's maternal grandfather, then that means that the kid would be based more on my dad, who was definitely balding.
Oh shit. You're right.
Yeah.
Your dad definitely has some male pattern baldness. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, like my grandpa on my mom's side.
Nice full head of hair.
But it's not based on that. It's
No.
based on your mother's dad.
Well, that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's just a wives' tale or something, but yeah, I don't know if there's any actual scientific merit to that, but that's what I've been told through the years, is that you look at your mom's dad, and that's pretty much the hair you're going to have.
So yeah, it would be risking a baldy.
Yeah. Did your dad start balding early?
No, I wouldn't say early. Just kind of.
Then that's fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much about bringing a guy into the world that goes bald when he's 45 or 40 or something, Like that's when you expect the hair to start thinning out. But yeah, that's my genetic flex. That and I've got blue eyes. Those are rare. Especially like light blue eyes.
Height is another funny one, isn't it?
Like how so?
Like how height ends up shaking out.
Oh, expressing in the genes, yeah. Yeah, because my mom is not tall, and people in her family are typically not tall, but my generation of her family are giants. Mm-hmm. So there must have been a recessive gene in there somewhere that started to express itself in that fucking generation of kids.
It was just nutrition.
Maybe.
Like, that's the biggest reason people were shorter back in the day, is because of poor nutrition. Maybe her family would have been taller had they had better nutrition as kids.
Good nutrition has given you some length of bone, but you're not far from poor white trash, are you, Agent Starling? Yeah. So that's probably true. My parents, both of them, lived in what I would call like true poverty, right? There's poverty, and then there's food insecure poverty. And both of them lived in food insecure poverty. So nutrition was bad.
Hit and miss.
Hit and miss. It was better than their parents had. Their parents provided better for them than the generation prior provided for their parents. But that's because my family came to California during the Dust Bowl. So you're talking about people that literally had nothing. Their entire farms buried under fucking silt. So my family came during the Dust Bowl to California. And so that generation of people lived in a place in Madera called Little Okie, and it still exists. It's named Little Okie because it was a red-lined neighborhood where people that were migrating from the South in the Dust Bowl were forced to live. So Okie is kind of a pejorative term that has been adopted by people from Oklahoma now. They will call each other Okies. But back in the day, calling somebody an Okie, there was a term called ditch bank Okie. And that was because they would sleep on the road, on the ditch bank. They were walking from the Dust Bowl to California, and they would sleep on the ditch bank. So they would call them DBOs, ditch bank Okies. And Little Okie in Madera, California is still a shit neighborhood, now mostly inhabited by white trash, trailer-type people, and Hispanic migrants. But it is still an implicitly red-lined neighborhood with a higher police presence, and the people that live in it are way more likely to go to prison than the average population of Madera. And this is in a tiny town, or a small American town. So you can imagine how this plays out in LA. So yeah, you know, my family comes from genuine got nothing poverty. And so my generation was probably the first generation of my family to get proper childhood nutrition.
At least in a hot minute.
Well, maybe not proper, because I was fat as fuck by 6, so I was getting but I was getting enough nutrients to fully express my genetics in terms of height. At the times in my life where it was super important for me to have a lot of protein, I did. Super important for me to have a lot of potassium and calcium and shit to build bones, I did. Right? All of that shit happened. Dude, it was weird too. You've heard of a growth spurt? Did you have a growth spurt? Girls are usually kind of like more gradual.
Well, like, I kind of topped out in height in middle school, but I was like, quote unquote, tall in middle school. Like, I was.
So you were taller than the average person or the average girl in middle school?
Or the average guy, at the very least.
Oh, really? You were towering over the boys in middle school? Yeah.
So that's like, I think early middle school was kind of when I topped out.
Yeah.
So.
I had mine sophomore summer. I was probably like 5'8" going into like sophomore year. And by the time I came back as a junior in high school, I was 6 foot tall. It was crazy.
But yeah, it was like, I guess, yeah, 8th grade is like when I stopped, like a hard stop.
Yeah. During that growth spurt too is when I got, what do they call it? Like androgenic change too. It's like prior to that, if you look at pictures of me before this quote unquote growth spurt, I kind of like had a very effeminate kind of frame. I was fat, but I was soft, you know, and my shoulders weren't super wide, and like I didn't have a very super masculine presentation, like in my body type. What do they call that? A phenotype or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
Morphotype or whatever.
Morphotype, I think.
Yeah. And then after that summer, it wasn't like I got ripped, but it's like I lengthened out and I started being less like this and more like this, you know, like I got tall, my hips got kind of like set, my shoulders got broad. So it was a whole different world when I came back, and I didn't even know it was gonna be. Like, I was such a little fucking mushroom in freshman and sophomore year, you know, that like no chicks were gonna be into me physically. You know, I might have had a great fucking personality, but I looked like, literally, like, go look at a picture of Toad from fucking Super Mario Brothers. I shit you not, bro. I literally looked like Toad. Yeah. And it just wasn't going to happen for me, you know. But then I came back to school as a junior, and not to brag, but like chicks were all over me all of a sudden. And I didn't know how to deal with it. So I was like,
Was that post mastectomy too?
yeah. Well, it wasn't really a mastectomy that I had. Like it's more like plastic surgery because they didn't remove all the breast tissue.
Yeah.
They removed most of it so that it looked natural instead of overly expressive breasts, right? But that happened when I was 13. I got that, surgery
High
done.
school.
Yeah, when I was a freshman in high school. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was also a lot like Toad in that I was a very likable guy, very nice, funny, you know, good friend. And so there were chicks that were like interested in me, but not interested in being seen with me. That's the fucked up thing. But you got to come to terms with that type of shit. You know, like people in high school, kids in high school, typically, I'm not trying to lump everybody in, but they're pretty fucking shallow. And so, like, that whole thing of, like, wow, you know, this person's looks aren't exactly up my alley, but their personality's dope. That doesn't really kick in until you're in your 20s. Yeah, dude, sorry, Mario, but your princess is in a whole different castle. It's interesting how it's okay for cis children to have gender-affirming surgeries. I know. And that's totally fucking true. It was not hard for me to get that taken care of. So for those of you that don't know, when I was a teenager, very young teenager, like 12, 13, 14, I had gynecomastia. This is you know, a lot of dudes have it. You develop breast tissue and your tits are fucking like, they look like female boobs.
Yeah, it's not just fat, it's like breasts.
And it caused me dysphoria. It made me dysphoric because I've always felt cis. I wanted to be a boy. And when I would look at myself in the mirror, I saw developing female tits. And so my parents took me to the doctor. The doctor sent me to an endocrinologist and a specialist and a hormone specialist. They all examined me, green-lighted me for gynecomastia plastic surgery, and I was given gender-affirming surgery at 13 years old so that I looked like a boy up here. And I still do look like a boy up here because of that surgery. I didn't know about binders, but I would wear, dude, I was binding without knowing it. I would wear a t-shirt that was 3 sizes too small for me under my shirt to keep everything compressed. And that's binding. And I was doing that every fucking day. Didn't want to dress out for PE because I'd have to pop my tits out. It was horrible, you know? And it's like, on the other end of the spectrum, there are people that would deny children who have gender dysphoria the ADA certified care for that, and not even non-surgically, right? It's fucked. And I'm talking about, like, this was in the very, like, early 90s. So this was not like a time where this gender care thing was even talked about, but it was readily available to me. And it was not a big hullabaloo to get it done either. It was very much considered to be the right thing to do for a little boy that had this problem. And it was the right thing to do for me. I felt so much better after it was done. I was able to wear normal clothes. I didn't have to worry about, like, binding with my t-shirt anymore. I didn't have to worry about taking my shirt off in the pool or dressing out for PE. I looked like a normal, pudgy, fat kid. Dude, you know? Kids were probably brutal about it too. I was really good at hiding it. Most people had no fucking clue what was in there. Because, like, in the winter time, big, bulky sweater, nobody's going to see.
Yeah, and it's not like you were a kid. It's not like you get full-grown woman breasts at
No.
12.
They weren't like, you know what I mean? But they were just, like, shaped like a girl. It's hard. You have to imagine it in your head. It happens to dudes. Sometimes it's just genetic. I think mine was because I was fat. I got fat in 6th grade when puberty hit. And being fat causes you to overproduce estrogen, especially during puberty. And that caused me to start developing female breasts. And see, this is another thing that proves that gender and sex are a spectrum. Right? All it took was me eating a little bit too much in the 5th grade and getting fat in the 6th to develop something that is traditionally considered to be, what is it, endomorphic or ectomorphic? Endomorphic. Can you produce milk? See, I don't know.
You had so much ripped out of you that you.
They took out basically the way that they explained it to me is if you look at breast tissue, it's shaped like this, right? It's a lump of fatty cells, right? And milk glands and all of that are lumped together and it's shaped like that, right? So basically they showed me that lump and what they were going to do, which was basically cut it in half. It's like this. And take off all of that stuff where there would be milk glands and shit, I guess. And all of the stuff that made that like pointy, full kind of thing. But leave enough of it in there that you look, because like...
you don't look all sunken.
Well, yeah, because it would have been sunken chest.
Yeah.
If they would have taken all of the tit meat out, I would have a sunken chest. And so they left just enough, and they shaved it like that. So they would take like something that was shaped like this, and they shaved it like this. Left just enough in there to provide like a basis. And they did it by cutting my nipples off. I can kind of show you guys. You might be able to see or not, but underneath my nipples here, you see that? There's a scar. They basically cut my nipples from here to there, went in orthoscopically and excised the breast tissue, pulled it out through there, and then sewed it up. So I don't have the scar under here. I mean, that's just like the roll. You know, that's my titty roll. But like, I don't have that like obvious scar. They did to hide the scar. In this one, it's even more apparent. You can see it on this one. This one didn't heal as well. So you can see down below, scar tissue all there. Pretty crazy, right? A full showing for free. I know.
You got male nipples, though.
It is what it is.
Male nips. Do what you want. You're even being educational.
I am. There's a lot of dudes out there that have this.
Yeah.
I will see them and I feel bad for them.
Because they probably their parents never did anything about it, and as adults,
they don't even know how to ask for it. They're embarrassed of it.
Yeah.
I was fucking embarrassed of it. But my parents didn't just let it sit. They noticed it happening. They took me to the doctor and kind of forced the situation. But I'm glad they did.
Yeah, because I feel like you as an adult would have never brought that shit up to your doctor.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have had a whole different life.
Yeah.
Two of the guys I compete with have gynecomastia from steroid use. That kind of scared me off of them. Yeah, I've heard that can happen. I don't know why, though, because you would think you're taking testosterone.
Well,
does testosterone trigger estrogen?
It's probably like a compensatory thing. Like if you over testosterone, your body's like trying to counteract it or something.
Maybe. But I have heard that. You know, I got less compassion for people that are taking testosterone and get it and shit. You know, just having it as a kid is pretty fucked up. And I see a lot of, you know, like teenagers and people in their 20s and stuff that clearly got this, and nobody's doing anything for them. And it's sad. It sucks. And then it really like drives home trans kids, right? And how they suffer. And non-binary kids, like kids that are like struggling with their gender expression and their gender identity in a world that's very critical of that. And there might be some medical care or just kind of like a social transition that would help them, but their parents are against it. That's so fucked.
Yeah, so I guess steroids actually increase the production of estrogen, and I guess that makes your testosterone go up as a result of estrogen. So it's like trying to keep up.
So that's why they get the titties.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. Sam said the same thing here. If you take over the amount that is normal of testosterone, it converts to estrogen. At least that's my understanding as a trans man. Got you. Yeah.
Your body wants to be in balance.
Yeah, it tries to balance itself out. Right. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Was trans even as a kid? Well, you know, like sexual expression, it usually, I mean, like, maybe that's not the case for everybody, but like for me, I was bisexual as soon as I became aware of sexuality and started to explore that avenue from a very early age, 6, 7 years old. I knew. And so if I extrapolate that experience out to the masses of people when it comes to sexual identity, I imagine that most people knew from a pretty young age. You know, I think it's different. I think being bisexual is different from being trans, obviously. But I think that the age at which it can express it, I'll tell you guys a story. I had a best friend growing up, and she was born male in the 80s. So in 1980, the same, well, actually, she was born in 79, but doesn't matter. We were a few months apart. We were best friends, next door neighbors, my whole young childhood. She was also my first kind of like friend that I messed around with. Kind of, you know, we were 6, 7. We didn't know what we were doing, but it was clearly sexual in nature. This kid, okay, when she was young, her mom would dress her up like a little girl. And my mom and her mom were both seamstresses. They loved to make costumes and dresses and stuff. And so they would dress me and this kid up. And apparently this is like pretty normal for women to do. Babies, when they're boys, you know what I mean? When they're little. You know, like, especially women that sew, they'll use, you know, the little boy as like a little dress thing. They did this. And the reason that it started happening was because my friend's mother saw in my friend that he was more like a little girl than a little boy, and saw how happy he was when he got to dress up like a little girl. But it only got to happen when his dad was away for work. And it was a big hush-hush secret, right? My mom's told me all this. I don't have memories of this. This was when we were like 1, 2, 3 years old, right? But it was an open secret between my mother and my friend's mother, and there wasn't a word for it yet. Trans wasn't a word. Cross-dresser was a word. Faggot was a word, right? Sissy was a word. Outcast was a word. Trans was not a word. But it was an open secret between my mother and my friend's mother that her son was more like a little girl. And it continued. my friend in their late 20s transitioned and is now living as a woman. And their life was horrible as a result of their father being this fucking dyed-in-the-wool, masculine, idealist, kind of country cowboy, chaw-backy spitting, beer swilling kind of man's man. And my friend could never be that. Could never be that. You know? So, it's pretty sad. So what's the conclusion of the story? That it's a sad thing that people are held back by other people's prejudices in living the life that would be the happiest and best for them personally. That's the conclusion. It's sad that it's such a struggle to be who you are, even now. It makes me sad. But them's the breaks. Oh, I laddie. So I got this Black Myth Wukong game. You guys heard of this game? It's like a Dark Souls ripoff game, but you play monkey. And I'm terrible at it, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's a very pretty game to look at. Anybody playing this Wukong game? Monkey Soul? Yeah. Dude, Monkey. You get to play as Monkey. No shit. You play Monkey. Sun Wukong Monkey. You hit thing with staff. You dodge thing. You hit thing with staff. You cast magic and hit thing with staff. Thing hit you back, you die. You respawn. You go back and try again. Dark Monkey Soul. Monkey Souls is what I'm going to start calling the game. I'll tell you what, I don't like Dark Souls, but I like Monkey Souls. So far, I'm enjoying Monkey Souls pretty much. Want it, but I'm broke. Yeah, I pre-ordered it back in the fucking day because it looked cool. So, I forgot I had it until I saw that it released yesterday. I was like, oh, Monkey Souls. Monkey died. Monkey revive. Monkey go back. Monkey try again. Monkey Souls. Monkey Souls. Any updates on the landlord or the cats? Nope. Looking up game now. Yeah, it's called Dark Myth Wukong. Or Black Myth. Sorry, Black Myth Wukong. What do you do for a living? You're looking at it, buddy. I own my own business. I've been a podcaster for almost 10 years. I do these for free. I don't make any money doing these. Well, I guess technically in a roundabout way, I probably do. People see this, they like me, they go see my other shit, they like that. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. They become a patron, they donate $5, whatever, on my other shit. But I don't ask people for money here, and I don't really shill anything here. I just like to talk, man. Heard it's way more Devil May Cry. I can see that, yeah. It's definitely got a Devil May Cry kind of fucking feel to it, for sure. Monkey Souls. Monkey Souls. Monkey Souls. drop the hair routine. I wash my hair a couple times a week. You can't wash your hair every day. You learn that as soon as you get long hair. And then when I do wash my hair and condition it, I use Head and Shoulders for the shampoo. And I make sure that I only, like, okay, so here's a trick that I learned, right? When you're washing your hair, you don't want to get soap all over this. You don't need to, okay? You want to wash your scalp. So you put the Head and Shoulders here and you do this. All the way around, you know. You're just getting it worked in there, but you leave this alone, right? Then you rinse. Then you put in your conditioner, but you don't put any up here. You put conditioner on this. So instead of rubbing the conditioner up in here, you rub the conditioner on this. And that keeps your hair from getting greasy. You know, so that you don't have to wash it every day. Right? 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 That's the hair routine. That's it. It's literally it. Brush it. Obviously, don't let yourself get dreadlocks. Have you a hair shampoo conditioner recommendation? Sure. I mean, what I'm using now is working fine for me, so I may not take it, but you can, yeah. Baddie with a fatty. Paul teaching the Zoomers how to wash their hair. Hey, somebody's got to do it, man. I didn't know that last part until like a fucking couple years ago, bro. I didn't know you weren't supposed to condition your roots. I didn't know you weren't supposed to wash your whole fucking hair completely with the shampoo because it strips all the fucking natural oils out. Most people got plenty of natural oil in the first 3 or 4 inches of their hair. You don't want to get all that fucking, you know what I mean? You know, but down here it gets dry. You don't want to strip all the oil out of that. Yeah, you get too greasy when you fucking condition your roots. You don't do that, man. And then your hair will be greasy in like a day, and then you gotta wash it again. It fucking sucks, bro. Fucking sucks. I do have a couple other little things. I have dry shampoo that I'll use sometimes. So that's just to, like, you know, fucking fluff up the hair a little bit. But I only use that when it's necessary. That's kind of a cheat. Like, if it's time to wash the hair, but I don't want to do it before I go somewhere, you throw in a little of the dry shampoo, you know. You should get dreads. Nah, no thank you. Bzzz. All I can say is that my life is pretty plain. I like watching the puddles gathering. And all I can do is just pour some tea for two and speak my point of view. But it's not sane. It's not sane. It's not sane. Yeah, dude, I get sweaty palms. I got sweaty palms right now. I do got. Paul, How do I not get so angry at stupidity? I'm working on that myself, man. I will tell you that the Tao helps. I will tell you that meditation can help. I will tell you that changing your perspective, that is what I'm working on now. Ultimately, I want to separate myself while still, obviously my job. I'm just struggling with the Tao, man, in a really good way, in a healthy way, right? Like I'm trying to, because I really don't care about attaining Buddhahood, but I would like to attain the ability to separate myself from the goings on in the world and to let them come and go, right? I don't want to be Mr. Political Advocate anymore, okay? I don't want to do it. I think it's poisonous, and I think it causes a lot of acrimony in my life, and I think it goes directly against what I'm trying to do in a spiritual sense, right? I think being so concerned with the pageantry of electoralism has drained my life force in a negative way. And in reading the Tao, I know that it's pushed me farther from the Tao, that ideal, the Buddhist ideal. I know that my over concern with governments and wars and human affairs, and my lack of concern about my inward life has painted me a nervous wreck and oftentimes a failure in my life. So I see my ruin in it, and I want to shed it. That's the fucking God's honest truth, man. And I'm working. There was a part of the Tao that just clicked with me. It talked about how a Buddhist does his work and then walks away. It answered a question for me. How do I continue to live my life and build this business that I have and eschew myself from politics? It says, you don't have to eschew yourself from politics. You just eschew yourself from politics when you're not working. Walk away from your work. The Tao is very explicit about this. And it was like an epiphany moment for me. And I'd read that part of the Tao multiple times and it never connected for me. And then all of a sudden I was like, this is how I live my life without being in contradiction. Cool. I get it now. I understand now. Could you explain spirituality to me? Well, I know we are a part of the universe. I just don't know if we are one with the universe in a spiritual sense. Spirituality is a personal thing. I'm not an evangelist for Buddhism. I'm not an evangelist for spiritualism or spirituality. Can I explain to you what spirituality is? And I can explain to you what it is for me. Spirituality is stepping away from the ego and stepping towards inaction, right? That's a tough word. Like the Tao talks about it, inaction, a lot. Inaction is the state we seek to achieve as Buddhists, right? Do not be reactionary to every stimulus in your life. Allow your life and life in general to happen around you, right? And so that's where the whole idea of interconnectedness comes in for me. I've always felt that way. And I've experimented with a lot of psychedelics and shit. I've always felt this idea that there is a layer to reality that our dull senses don't pick up on. That there is a layer of connectivity between us and not just all life, but all elements, universally. We are made of the same stuff as a star 100 light years distant, right? We're made of the same stuff as this beautiful tree with the pink blossoms here. You know, we're made of the same stuff as this shitty fucking folding chair. It's all in us, right? And whether or not you consider that to be profound or just a statement of scientific fact depends on your proclivity. Like I said, I'm not here to evangelize my personal spiritual prescriptions. I would feel bad doing that, considering I would be what I would call a baby Buddhist. I only recently, as of this year, started to practice or attempt to practice, right? And part of that journey for me has been my struggle with letting go of argument, letting go of being correct, letting go of being wrong, letting go of my personal investment in things that are utterly outside my control and really utterly outside my purview as a human being. What I care about is all out here. I'm going to be honest with you, right? What I care about is all here with me, my family, right? And then in a broad sense, the nature that I live in and amongst, right? That's what I care about. That's what I'm concerned with. And when I say concerned, I mean, I'm only concerned with existing with it. Get the fuck, man. You guys are crazy, bro. You gonna make me pull it? You make me pull out the biscuit and get limp? Oh, I'm gonna catch one of you fucks in flight. Come here. Come on. You fuckers are way too naughty today. Come on. Come on. Let's do it. One of you is going to go through the net. Who's it going to be? Land on my head, huh? I'll land on my head, huh? You got to get a little whiz on it to get them out of the air, but I've done it before. Bzz, bzz. Whatever, man. What was that? That dance has a name. Are you happy with Walls as VP? Yeah, I guess. I mean, VP is like, I don't know why everybody's all of a sudden excited about VP. VPs usually are fucking marginalized to nothing. So I can be excited about Tim Walls' stated positions prior to being selected VP, but he's made it clear that his positions are Kamala Harris's positions. So his positions have shifted in order to accommodate his new role. You can't have a VP who is in direct contradiction of their candidate. So he has bent the knee He has explicitly stated that the Harris platform is the Walls platform, and the Harris platform is a lot of economic platitudes and a desperate, desperate desire to ignore Palestine, to ignore the butchery going on in Palestine. And that to me is not like something I'm going to fucking flip over backwards and celebrate. You know what I mean? Sorry. You know, there are human beings right now being blown to fucking smithereens with my money. And I don't like that. And any president or presidential candidate or Senate candidate that's going to continue to support funding that is an enemy of mine. Period. I don't care what platitudes they spit out on the fucking campaign trail. I don't even really care if they spit out platitudes because they're doing that. Platitudes mean nothing. Action means everything. Kamala Harris is in the position to exert her influence now. She is the heir apparent. She doesn't have to be Biden's little bitch. She can come out, call a presser, and say, it is time for the slaughter in Gaza to stop. I'm announcing right now that we oppose any more funding to Israel until there is a ceasefire and an international investigation of this war. She could say that. She could do that. She's got the power. She's got the heir apparency. She's the scion. She could do it. She's not gonna do it. It's like, people are all thinking about, like, what will Harris be like? She's fucking vice president now. And everybody just creaming themselves saying, thank you, Joe. What do you think a Palestinian would say? You think they'd be chanting, thank you, Joe? Nobody's ever got an answer for that. Because people want to pretend like they care about Palestinians while still voting for their fucking people that are blowing them to bits. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. You think the Palestinians would be there with them? Thank you, Joe. As American bombs cut their children to pieces. See, I have a baseline level of empathy, and I have a red line at genocide. Sorry. I don't celebrate people that are pro-genocide. I don't celebrate people that are pro-war, because I've seen what happens to a population that is engulfed in war. I'm against it. And there's really nothing else to say. Honestly. You want to talk like politics outside of geopolitics, outside of my staunch and complete anti-war position, right? Let's talk blue-collar solidarity. Let's talk unionizing. Fuck the politics. Fuck the DNC. That's where leftist movements go to die. Look at AOC. Shill of all shills. Reduced to just a firebrand speaker now, but every time that fucking IPAC wants her to vote on something, she's right back at it. Right? So I tell you what, you give me something to get excited about, and I'll get excited. As long as you're asking me to elect a genocidal freak that's going to continue funding Israel bombing the tiny little fraction of Palestine that's left, I'm not going to cheerlead, bitch. Well, this channel was chill for a bit. Yeah, I know. That's the way it is, man. What are you going to do? You ever going to go back on Destiny's show again? Once he's done with this fucking boring ass, like, I'm going to convince Republicans arc, it's just not going to happen, bro. He is just like autistically drilling down into this fucking January 6th shit. Like he's gonna, like these people are not operating in good faith. They don't believe that January 6th was a nothing burger. They just say it was a nothing burger because that's what makes Trump look better. And you convincing one person here or there or pwning 5 or 6 of these fucking guys on the internet, it's just a waste of fucking time, and it's utterly I can't even watch it, bro. Typically when Destiny's on one of these, like, I can watch like some of the but like I've tried to watch some of his latest shit where it's all January 6th nonsense, and I'm just like, it's just boring. Just such a foregone conclusion, and it's boring. So no, I'm not gonna bother him on his show when he's making content that I'm utterly bored with. Like, I'll wait, and when the arc changes and something interesting's going on, I'll use my perms to pop back in. You know? When I got something to say, I got nothing to say about what he's doing. Other than, and I've already said it to him, I popped in, other than, it's a waste of time. Yeah. People are stupid, bro. There's some Trumpers hanging around in here, and I don't know why they feel like so bold, but January 6th was a bunch of drunken fucking Trump morons storming the Capitol with the intent of stopping the election from being certified. Okay? On the orders of Donald Trump. And if you say it was anything different, you're just a fucking liar. Period. Freedom of speech is not the freedom to take hostages, dumb fuck. And dude, these were like most of these people that got in there are just like the fucking worst people. Like, if they were your fucking relatives, you disavow them. They'd be the relative that you never told anybody about. Fucking Uncle Charlie, the fucking MAGA weirdo. He took a shit in the Capitol. I shit you not. He's on video. They couldn't find a bathroom, and he took a shit in the rotunda. You know what I mean? What are your politics? Did you just tune in? Because I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You can watch this later. I just gave my politics. I just gave. But here, I'll give you the basics. I don't vote for Democrats. I don't vote for Republicans. I don't play into the duopoly. My political leanings are with blue-collar working families. Period. And that's it. Anything else, I'll talk to you about it. I'll tell you what my opinion is on it. But politically, I give a fuck. I want economic rights for people that are struggling right now. I want an economic bill of rights. I want a mass uprising, a mass fucking strike. And I want 1 million people in the National Mall camping out until we get our fucking human rights. The fact that we're all poor, and when I say we, I'm not necessarily personally poor. I'm just saying I'm not a fucking millionaire or even close to it, right? So people in blue collar, white collar professions are all being squoze while it's record profits for everybody else. That's all I care about. You have the finances to attend every protest. What do you know about my finances, homie? You know something I don't? Oh my fucking God, bro. They're just fucking out of control today, bro. It's one thing that's nice about the heat is it kills all these fucks. Oh, you're gonna get zapped. Got him. Scooped. Who's next? Who's next? Oh, everybody's all quiet now. You guys saw that guy drop? Who's next? I love the bug drama. Bro, it's just flies and mosquitoes, bro. I'm chill with literally every other bug, okay? But flies and mosquitoes, they gotta go, bro. They serve literally no purpose on this planet, and that's not even a joke. If the common housefly disappeared today, the world would suffer actually zero consequences for it. Literally zero animals on this planet make their diet primarily on flies. Flies are literally just nuisances. Same thing goes for mosquitoes. If I could like be a genie and sim salabim bloop, and every mosquito dies, there wouldn't be like this ecological collapse. You know? The world would spin on. Why do you hate Trump so much? What? Dude, what are you even talking about, bro? Why are you typing like you're on T9? You can type YOU. You're not on it. I guarantee you're not watching this on a Nokia brick. So I don't know why you're typing T9 up in here, but you need to stop that because it makes you look, what's the word? Retarded. So ask that again without the T9. Eye of Sauron is upon you. You will ask that question again. That will be the next thing you type or you're banned. Without the T9 shortening. Anybody T9ing right now that thinks it's funny, nuke them. People too stupid to realize that they don't have to type like they're on a Nokia phone, bro. Exit stage left immediately. I can't do it, bro. I used to have to read text like that every day. You are coming to, I'm not, I don't know why you're typing like that. You're driving, ban him. He shouldn't be typing. You shouldn't be typing while you're driving. Ban him. Get him out. Cut his throat. Self-reporting. Don't self-report up in here, bro, because I love banning people. It makes no difference to me. And it makes no difference to me when they cry all over overseas. When it's hot in the poor places tonight. I'm not going outside. That album, by the way, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco, one of the most brilliant post-punk albums ever made. Hello, baby.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's getting kind of salty there for a minute, but then I pulled it back.
Yeah.
I tried to remember the Tao. I'm having a really good time reading the Tao and reconciling it with my life and seeing, like, it's a pretty, like, straightforward text about what I should be doing as a Buddhist. But so much of it seems to be in contradiction of what I can do right now. But that's the struggle. We want to get closer to the Tao. The Tao being like the great nothing, right? Like the Tao is like the source, I guess you would call it. It's stillness, it's inaction, right? All of that precedes action. So that's the Tao. Tao is inaction. Tao is nothingness. It's the great, like, inaction is the mother of creation. That's in the Tao. And it's like, how? Every action is preceded by a stillness, right? And that stillness is the Tao.
So are you saying you're trying to fight against trying to make things happen rather than, like...
I never had the delusion that I'm going to make things happen. What I'm fighting against, and I just said this to them, I don't want to be a guy that carries the politics around all the time. That doesn't mean I won't talk about them, because in the Tao it says that a Buddhist does his work and then walks away. My work is being a political commentator of sorts, right? I can do my work, but it just means that I have to do my work in such a way that I walk away from it outside of my life, which means I'm going to have to change my rhetoric going forward. Like, I'm going to have to be honest about my position if I can attain the position that I want. Part of the Tao is about stillness and allowance for the world to be what it is, right? You are at peace with the world, whether it's at peace or not, because you understand that it's all out of your purview, and your concern with it robs you of your life. As the Tao says, it hardens your heart. They say if you can't give up caring about the world's events and the world at large, and arguing and worrying about that, your heart will never unclench. That's the words that it uses. And so I'm moving towards that. I can talk about these things, but people will know my perspective as a Buddhist. Here is my read on it from the years that I spent as a political advocate and a political commentator and stuff. But I don't want to do this shit no more. Like, I don't want to be that guy. I never wanted to lead a fucking movement of anybody. I'm not equipped for that. I'm willing to go along with a movement. But this, like, Paul's ego is going to win the argument. Paul's ego is going to do this. Paul's ego cares about that. Paul's ego is going to get riled up about that. Those days are sunsetting for me. Because I'm learning, according to the Tao, how to fucking categorize that in my life properly. Because that's what I'm struggling with. When the Tao talks about a Buddhist doing his work, so much of people's lives are wrapped up in work drama. That they carry home their hatred for their boss or some coworker, or their hatred for the work. You know how much of my life was thieved by that alone? I don't want that anymore. And when I'm fucking all salty on a show, you see how I get. I carry it, don't I? I harbor it. I don't want to harbor it no more. Because you know what? I have no fucking place harboring it. I don't. But that doesn't mean it's a light switch I can flip. I'm learning. I'm learning. It's a journey, right?
I'd say that also you've been struggling with accepting just the circumstances of life lately.
Yeah. I get righteously indignant when I feel I've been done wrong by. and I feel done wrong by in this. And so it's like, how do I let go of that and just say, well, what will be, will be. I think that, like, it's hard to explain probably, but I've come a long way. Not necessarily in pursuit of the Tao, but like in my psychological, therapeutic time, you know, learning how to let go of things. I'm better now than I was 20 years ago. I'm closer to that ideal now. But yeah, it'll ruin my whole fucking day if I get fucked over. You know? Used to ruin a week. And really ruin my day. Because I'd go pick a fucking argument or something over it. For no reason, you know? Just to be able to jettison that anger. And as I, you know, like I'm on a journey, you know, like I'm not trying, like, here's the thing I'm very wary of. I don't want to be an evangelist for any kind of spiritual movement or religion. That's why I love Buddhism. Like, I don't have to evangelize it. I can talk about it when it comes up, and it's going to come up frequently in my life, I would imagine. But I'm not recruiting. I don't care if you're a Buddhist or not. I don't care if you think what I'm talking about is fucking mumbo jumbo or not. Like, it's not. That part of me isn't up for debate, right? My spirituality isn't up for debate. Anything else about me probably is, right? You guys want to fucking shit on me for this, that, or the other thing, but my spirituality, you don't have access to that. That's for me.
I think the feelings of persecution are very tied to depression.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. I've tried, and you know this to be true. Most of the therapeutic mainline shit for treating depression and anxiety and shit, right? I'm currently medicated. I have to marry that because having tried most of that, the thing that really helped me was somebody sitting down with me and contextualizing. Basically, what I did was I sat at the feet of a master in Taoist terms. Somebody that knew their life, or at the very least had a facsimile of that was relatable to me. And that man, and I think it was important that he was a man, walked me through my life, taught me how to be a man, taught me how to not lose myself in fits of anger, taught me how to fight that feeling in a different way. Am I cured? Fuck no. No. I struggle every second of every day, but do I have better coping mechanisms now than I've ever had in my life? Yes. Will I have a better coping mechanism next year? I hope so. I hope so. One of the things I like about Buddhism is that it has these hard lines in it. You know, alcohol will never touch the lips of a Buddhist. But if you listen to Zen koans, they're filled with Buddhists who aren't concerned with the rules of being a Buddhist, right? Drunkards, wanderers, right? Who happen to be Buddhas. So it's like living in accordance with the rules is one thing. Understanding that rules are made to be broken when you're talking about the self is another. I love that about Buddhism. I love that. It's not an excuse for me to be an irascible piece of shit, but it makes allotments for people who are psychologically different, who march to the beat of their own drum. They are still important figures in Buddhist practice. Pretty neat. Mm-hmm. There are numerous stories about how drunkards attained nirvana, and how homeless and indigent people attained nirvana, of how there's a koan that's so beautiful about a kanji The first principle is what it's called. It's the first principle of Buddhism, but somebody was writing the kanji for that, and there was this great master who was training an apprentice, and the apprentice did better than the master. And the master said, that's garbage. Throw it out, right? So the apprentice did it 1,000,000 different times, right? And eventually, he did it and brought it out and said, Master, can you show me on this kanji that you drew your technique? How did you do it? And he said, ah, yes, this is my finest piece, right? He identifies the student's work as the master's work. And so that student ended up having this first principle sign over his temple. And it was revered as the most beautiful expression of that. And his master took the glory for it. But that was how he achieved perfection, was by not surpassing not competing, but by allowing someone else to take full credit for his work. That's how he achieved the perfect kanji. That's cool, right? There's so many little things like that in Buddhism that as you dig deeper, it's like some things will really hit for you and some things not so much.
You think the drug tenant is one that you'll never embrace?
I don't know. I don't know if I will or I won't. I don't worry over it, I'll tell you that. I see it as a long journey. That's what it's supposed to be. And, you know, I don't know what I'll be doing around the next bend. Who knows? I like to think I know. I like to think I've got a plan for it, but ultimately, dust in the wind. Dirty, dusty dust in the wind. Let the people see you. No, 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 no. Don't go away. Don't go away. The people love you, and they need you. They need diamonds. I accidentally hit the fucking mute. Anyway.
Is there anything you need?
Nope. I think I'm gonna finish this up. Yeah. Finish up with Jay here and do a little finish up of today's show. Feeling better than I have been the last few days. That's good.
Good.
I feel like my head cold has passed. I had a pretty nasty head cold yesterday and the day before and the day before. Ooh! Get out of here, Frog. Get bzz, 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 bzz. Don't touch me. See, I'm a raw nerve. Just a raw nerve. Flip. Don't do it. I don't want to be touched, man. Stop. Hi, PP. Dude, I think that Michael Bay skibbity toilet shit is a meme. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's a meme. I don't think it's happening. He's memeing. I gotta go.